Right, this is Bob Baxter, and I'm talking to Joyce Gates on the 3rd of May 2005. So if you'd just like to talk normally, Mrs. Gates.
Well,
Shall I we'll get back to that in a minute. Shall we start from the beginning then?
Yes.
So, the year of your birth was
1927.
1927. And where did you live as a child?
As a child, I've lived in Tenham most of my single life.
Right.
And then I was married and we lived in Batteries Close at Lynsted for 47 years.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And did you have brothers and sisters, or?
2 sisters. Yes. An older one, Joan, and young Jimmy, Harrisburg anyway.
Right. And what did your parents do?
My father was a railway worker. He was going on the railway. My mother, she was recruited onto the farm in the war. They used to come round and ask, get them to pick the people to work on the farm, because the men were away.
Right, okay, so she was a land girl, was she?
Well, no, she wasn't a land girl, because she'd got 3 children to look after, and we had evacuees.
Right.
We had 2 evacuees as well. They came down from Chatham.
Oh, right. But you yourself weren't evacuated?
No, they came down to us. There was a lot come down this way.
Chatham.
Come from Chatham, didn't it?
Yeah, came from Chatham.
Right. So when did you move to Batteries then?
1948, wasn't it? 1949, when they were built.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when they were built, we moved. We lived with my mother for a little while, didn't we?
Yeah.
Down in, it was Lynsted Terrace those days, but now it's Lower Road, Tenham.
Right.
Then we moved up to Shaftesbury Court for 10 months in the army hut.
Right.
And then we got the council house at Batteries Close.
Right. So, at what stage did you get married?
I got married at 19, he was 21. 23, I beg your pardon, 23.
Oh, yeah.
In 1946. We got one son. He was born in 1947.
And what does he do?
Well, he's moved out to Ireland. Yes, went 5 years ago, Southern Ireland, and he's a lorry driver.
Right. One of the things we're interested in is pastimes. You know, as a child.
As what we did.
What did you used to do?
Well, in the way of games, it was skipping, whip and top.
Right.
What else did we have?
Hopscotch.
We used to play. We used to have the wooden hoops to play with.
Was that all the old iron hoop?
Yeah, iron hoop, yes. What else?
With the old iron to get it along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about schooling? What school did you go to?
Tenham School. That was the old school up on the hill. That one that we went to.
Yeah.
And we stayed there till we left school.
Right. And what age were you?
14 when we left school.
Right.
And
can you remember how many teachers there were there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teachers there.
Yes, and the headmaster and mistress was Mr. and Mrs. Gates.
Yeah. Same name as
ours.
No relation.
No relation.
Well, slightly related. His grandfather and my grandfather were cousins.
Oh, right. So
slightly related.
Right. But not enough to get you any advantage at school then.
Still got hiding just the same.
Yes, we used to.
So what was the punishment in those days?
A rule across the knuckles, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was right.
Or there was one teacher, he would get his knuckles, I can't bend my fingers, They already get it like that, and big hit you in the ribs, and it was...
Sammy Evans, that was.
Yeah, that's good.
They're still good teachers, though.
They were. We respected them.
3 hours in
Yes.
Okay, so when did you get involved in cherries then?
Well, it was like this. If we were hard up at the time, you know what it's like when we were youngsters.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to go to work. Well, when I was up Shaftesbury, this Mr. Whittle, he wanted some cherry pickers. Well, I've never done it in my life. And never climbed a ladder. But then, we had a good teacher. His name was Brusher Day.
Yeah.
He used to live in Lynsted, in that little cottage, almost opposite the Black Lion. There was a little cottage next to where Mr. Breaker lived.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he used to live there. And
Vicarage Cottage or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And there was 2 of us that didn't climb. So he put 3 ladders up in the tree, because they were high trees.
Right.
And he got on the middle one, and he got us 2 girls on the outside, and he said, now, you come up with me. As I go up the ladder, you go up. And you start picking from the top, and carry your fruit down. Not start picking at the bottom of the tree and carry your fruit up.
Yeah.
And we were not allowed to have baskets strapped on our backs. We had to have them hanging on the ladder. Because if we fell, we could break our back.
Right. So you hooked
So we hooked the baskets onto the rungs of the ladder.
Right. So how did that work then? Was there a hook on the basket?
A hook on the basket, yes. There was we had a wicker basket, and then we had a hook on it.
Right.
A hook.
For metal or basket work?
The basket, it was basket work,
Right.
with a metal hook.
Right.
Yeah.
And how many cherries were in a basket load?
Well, it just all depends, didn't it? Some baskets were bigger than others.
Right. No standard size.
So there was no standard.
Chip, 12 pounds.
Mostly 12 pounds,
Right.
or just on 12 pounds.
So the leader, the man, had got 1 ladder,
Yes,
and the girls had got...
to make sure, when they were teaching us.
Right.
But I mean, and the ladder mover had to make sure that the ladder was in a crutch, like that, the crutch,
Yes.
so that you couldn't fall out.
Right.
It was no good just putting the ladder just on the tree.
Yes.
It had got to go, so it was...
In a certain place. And they were big old trees.
And they were big old trees, 60 styles, weren't they, to start with.
Yeah.
Then they gradually got down.
60 styles?
Styles. So they call them ladder styles, ladder rungs.
Right, rungs.
Yeah.
And what scales then?
No, I said styles. What are they?
S-T-A-L-E-S,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Technical term, good. And the ladders were broad at the bottom and narrow at the top.
That's right,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, and did you ever remember picking in the orchard that we now have?
No, I didn't pick in that one.
No.
I didn't pick in
But the
that
trees were about that size,
Sorry.
really?
Well, that, I presume so, yes, must have been, yes.
Yeah.
But they sort of came down quite a lot and if you had a small tree that was too big for steps and too small for ladders, you had ladders locked like that on the top, and
to form a kind of A shape. Yeah.
one side of the tree and one the other. And it was locked like that. The person that was underneath the locking one, they could, well, on the bottom part, but the one that went up on that one could do all the top. But that one must not come off the other one must not come off the ladder. It should go over the top.
Right. And do you recall any accidents happening?
Well, there's only been one fatal accident in Tenham.
Right.
And what was that? Just after the war or in the war?
What accident?
Mrs. Lewis. She fell and broke her neck. But I'm not sure actually when that happened. his daughter is still alive, I know.
Actually, Borman, he didn't he?
Did he fall ill, did he?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I didn't know that one.
I can't tell you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
But he survived, didn't he?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
But that's a really fatal accident.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Right, so, but by and large, the supervisors were very safety conscious.
Oh yes, very safety conscious.
Oh,
They had to be, yes.
Very safety conscious.
And you are yourself when you're up those ladders.
I can imagine so, yeah.
And I have been tied into the tree. The ladders have been tied into the tree when the wind's been blowing.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what about clothing? Did you have any special?
No special clothing. No,
Old
that's
sort of
just
old
old clothes.
Yeah,
Yes.
And were there any?
We had to pick the cherries with the streaks on. You must not pick them without the streaks. You can't just grab them like that. You had to pick them with streaks on.
Streaks.
Yes.
That's the name for stalks.
Yes.